history, happiness meant helping others, being generous to others. So, for example, let's just say that I go off and I wander, and then I find a lot of gold, right? I come back, and what's the first thing I do with all this gold? Do you guys know? And this is like the ancient past.
Dig a hole and put them inside.
Okay, yeah, good, right? We're gonna dig a hole and put that money inside because we want to give it to our children. That's a modern mindset. But what did they do before? And this happened throughout every society. If I became rich one day, what's the first thing I would do?
Show off? Show off?
No. Okay, so we'll learn this, okay? But the first thing that people did was they had a big feast for everyone. They spent all the money on a big feast. Because what mattered was your reputation within the community. What mattered was your generosity. If you got rich one day, you made sure that everyone in the community benefited from your wealth, usually by holding a big feast. And guess what, guys? This was true in China for most of Chinese history, right? If you come from a Chinese village, you come to Beijing, you open a restaurant, you make a lot of money, you go to your village, what's the first thing you do? Come on, guys. You have a big feast for everyone. Okay, so this is ingrained in us, okay? But as you say, today what we believe is, if you have a lot of money, put it underground or put it in the bank, okay? But back then, for most of human history, we would just spend it all on a big feast. We want everyone to share in happiness, and that's what made us happy. Okay? Any questions? Yeah?
I was wondering, you mentioned that it was for reputation on some levels. Would that count into as your individual happiness? Because after you get rich, you care about your reputation.
Okay. Yeah. So you're asking, isn't this about individual reputation? And again, I mean, this is hard, okay? But the concept of the individual did not exist before. We just created it. The idea that I'm a person independent of my family, independent of my community, independent of the world around me, makes no sense. What was the worst punishment that could be inflicted on you in the past? Let's just say that we're gonna fight, I kill you, right?
Like they said you're no longer belong to this family.
Exactly. Banishment, exile. Not death, right? And today, if I killed you, you would come catch me and kill me. But before, we didn't do that. Because the worst thing that we could do was exile you. It says, you're no longer part of us. You understand? So the concept of the individual did not exist. Right? Okay, so let's move on. All right, so now I'm going to present two understandings of the world. And you're going to tell me which understanding you think is correct. In the first understanding, we humans don't have agency. We don't have really control. Why? Because there are powerful gods out there, okay? There are these powerful gods like Apollo, Dionysus. Oh, the problem though is that they are also controlled by other gods that are more powerful, like, for example, fate, fortune. And then there are these really ancient gods that control the structure of the universe. For example, maybe anger and pride. So you have absolutely no individual agency because there's always a god screwing with you, okay? You might get rich, but then the god of pride looks at you and says, no, I need to teach this mortal a lesson. So the god comes into me, makes me too arrogant, and I screw up. Okay? So we're always being controlled by these forces beyond our understanding. Okay, so that's the first worldview. The second worldview is this. We are synapses that generate memories. Okay? We are memories. Our understanding of the world comes from our experience. That is controlled by synapses. Synapses come from a combination of DNA and environment. Our genes and our interaction with the environment, our experiences. And what this means is that we can now have control over our own individual fate. If you're angry, it's because some experience or some genes made you angry, and this anger becomes reinforced in your memories. And therefore, if you do proper therapy, if you do proper reflection, if you do some exercises, you can better control your anger and therefore control your fate. Okay? So